Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to breed 5 to 6 IV Pokemon completely from scratch as soon as you reach the post game. This video assumes that you've completed the Sinnoh Pokedex, and I still have plenty of Drifloon eggs left over. People on our Discord do a lot of trading and we are growing every day, so you're welcome to join us if you're still trying to complete your Pokedex. To quickly sum up this method, we will be using the Destiny Knot, and if we can afford power items, we will also use power items. We will be doing some Pokeradar chaining, but we will not be focusing on getting 3, 4 or 5 IV Dittos. The probability to find a 3, 4 or 5 IV Ditto while doing the Pokeradar method is just too low. I have spent hours trying to chain for this and it's just not worth my time, and if something isn't worth my time, it's not going to be worth your time. The objective for this method whilst chaining for Dittos with the Pokeradar method is to ensure that we can have a maximum IV for each stat. Of course, each stat being HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. From there, we can use power items or the Destiny Knot to breed up from 0 perfect IVs to 5 or 6 perfect IDs. By taking advantage of egg groups, we can breed specific Pokemon with 5 to 6 IVs, which can then be used instead of a 5 IV Ditto with other Pokemon inside the same egg group to breed 5 to 6 IV Pokemon. I've included a spreadsheet that has a list of what I think are the most convenient Pokemon that will cover each egg group. Of course, you can find this list in the description. To start off, we will of course need the Pokeradar, and you will pick this up from Professor Rowan once you complete your Sinnoh Pokedex. I also recommend going to Ramanas Park, and there you will meet Professor Oak, and he will give you the chaining app for the Pokéetch. This will help us keep track of what we are chaining and the chain count that we are currently on, so I definitely recommend picking this up. Next up, we want to unlock the judge function for the PC. To do this, we travel to Snowpoint City, and then we get on the boat to the battle zone. Once we're at the battle zone, we go to Battle Park, head all the way up, and then you're in the battle tower. There'll be some people next to the PC, talk to one of those guys, and they will unlock it for you. The judge function gives us an indication of our Pokemon's IVs. For this video, we are basically just looking for as many best stats as we can, as this indicates that it is a maxed out IV. Before we start doing the chaining method, we do need quite a bit of money to get started because we want to buy a lot of Repels and a lot of Repeat Balls. So what I do is go to Celestic Town, go to the right, use Defog once you're in Route 210, and then follow the path that I'm taking to get to the 2 Ace Trainers that are going in like a square. We will be using the Versus Seeker to repeatedly battle them, and we will get either $13,000 or $26,000 if we have the Amulet Coin equipped to one of our Pokemon. To get the Amulet Coin, we will be going to Hearthome City and going to the Amethyst Square. There you will be able to walk around with a specific set of Pokemon. I recommend just taking your starter, as everyone pretty much still holds on to their starter, even in the post-game. If you just follow the path that I'm taking, inside one of the huts will be the Amulet Coin. In my opinion, around 250,000 is a good place to stop, as you will be spending a lot of this money on Repeat Balls and Repels. Personally, I like to pick Super Repels, as back in the day they always seem to be the most efficient. I would recommend having a good False Swiper, and the two that I've chosen are Garchomp and Scyther. I think Scyther is easier to obtain if you didn't evolve a Gibble, but you can obtain both of these inside the Grand Underground. What I like to do is teach False Swipe, Protect, and Substitute so that the Ditto that turns into my Pokemon doesn't have any lethal moves that can harm me. You can purchase all 3 of these moves at the Veilstone department store. All that's left is to teach a 4th move that you wouldn't like to be used against you by the Dittos. I know that we've been doing a lot of setup, but if you have all of these things, we can now go to Route 218 where we can chain our Ditto. To get here, you will want to fly to Canalave City, go down and then to the right through the gate, and you will basically be where we need to be. We do have some setup left to do, however. You want to double check that you've battled the trainers that are nearest to the grass patch, because if they do somehow trigger on you to do a battle, you will completely reset the chain that you're on, and this can be very upsetting. Lastly, the final setup. I promise this is the last thing you will have to do, and then you can just chain to your heart's content. Turn off your autosave, set the other options to auto, setting a nickname, putting your Pokemon in a box, because otherwise you're going to be pressing A a lot more and it can just really make things more monotonous. You want to deregister your other key items, and then register only the Pokeradar. This way, when you press the plus button, it will activate the Pokeradar. Some people might want to register 2 items so that in case they accidentally press the plus button, it just goes to a menu. I would recommend using a rod because you can't fish in grass, so this will be like a fail-safe. However, I personally don't do this, so it's not something that I would do. Next, you want to use a repel and then stand in the middle, or as good as it gets towards the middle as possible in this grass patch. And from here, you are ready to chain. You need to save your game. I'm going to say it another 3 times. Please save your game. Please save your game. Please save your game. Have you saved your game? Okay, so the reason that we save our game is, let's say we did a chaining session and we didn't get any of the dittos that we need. We've just used a lot of repeat balls and repels, and we've spent a lot of money. So instead of having to go and grind for more money, we can instead reset our game. Sure, we do lose some time, but ideally we didn't lose that much time because we didn't even get anything that we needed. Now we can activate the Pokeradar and start to chain for Ditto. Once you do this, 4 of the grass tiles will become Shaky grass tiles. You now get to choose one of these tiles and it will simulate what it would be like to have a random encounter in this grass patch. If we do not get the Pokemon that we're looking for, all we have to do is run away, run for 50 steps, and then reactivate the Pokeradar. Of course, we are looking for Ditto, so if we get a Ditto, then the chain is on. We use our false swipe, and then we throw a repeat ball. If you haven't caught Ditto before, you might want to use a different Pokeball just for a better chance, but it is still only a low-level Ditto, so it won't be too hard. Once you've caught your first Ditto, one of 2 things will happen. Either you will go back to the route and there are no more Shaky grass tiles. This means that your chain has broken. I have actually had this happen at a chain of 1 and it sucks. The other thing that will happen, which is what we are looking for, is that there will be 4 Shaky grass tiles once again, and this will be reinforced by your tracking app. It will show the Pokemon that you are tracking and the current chain number. If you do have 4 Shaky grass tiles, it's very important that you do not move. This is because we only want to interact with Shaky grass tiles that are at least 4 tiles away from us. This ensures that we will always have a 93% chance of continuing the chain if we caught the previous Pokemon in the chain. If we don't see any Shaky grass tiles that are at least 4 tiles away from us, all we need to do is not walk into any of the Shaky grass tiles, find a spot that we can run for 50 steps, and then walk back into the center of the grass patch as best we can, and then reactivate the Pokeradar. We will retain our current streak, but it will reset the current position of all the Shaky grass tiles. At this point, we can repeat the process until we are happy with the position of a Shaky grass tile. This becomes a lot more important at higher streaks, as you want the best chance to continue the streak. Once you reach a streak of 20, the Pokemon will have 1 guaranteed perfect IV, and at a streak of 30, you will have 2, at a streak of 40, you will have 3, and all the way at 100, you will have 5. You can still get perfect IVs along your way. It's a matter of luck, but you should always check your boxes once you've broken a chain, and if you didn't get any dittos that you need, at this point you want to reset. Just as a reminder, when you use the judge function, you will know if a Pokemon has a maxed out IV stat because it will say best. So now all you need to do is continue chaining dittos until you have a maxed out IV in all 6 stats. This can be a bunch of 1 IV dittos, 2 IV dittos, maybe you've got 1 3 IV ditto, a 2 and a 1. As long as you are covering every stat, we can move on to the breeding method. For the breeding section of this video, we are going to prepare 3 things that we want to obtain. The first of those is the Destiny Knot. Second, we want a Flame Body Pokemon. And finally, the Oval Charm. To get Destiny Knot, we simply have to travel to the Pokemon League and then go through the previously blocked side area inside Victory Road. Just follow me and I'll show you where to go. Go through the empty section of the cave and then you will be inside a foggy area of a cave, which obviously you can use defog. You will also find Marnie here and you will escort her through the rest of the cave. Once you have done this, you can exit the cave and you will arrive at Route 224. You can choose to battle or avoid the 2 trainers here, as they will spin to a different angle, allowing you to walk past. And then the 3rd trainer you have to battle because you can't dodge them. After this, simply walk towards the Dragon Tamer, who will be doing a spinning rotation, and you can pick up the Destiny Knot from the floor. Next up is the Flame Body Pokemon. The reason we want this is because eggs will hatch twice as fast if a Pokemon with Flame Body is in our party. What we will do is travel to the battle area and then enter the Grand Underground, go to a Fire Biome Cave or the large Fire Sand Hybrid Cave. We are looking for either a Magby, a Slugma, or a Magcargo. Once you find these, make sure to catch them, and once you have one with Flame Body, we can move on. Next up is the oval charm, and we can obviously obtain this once we've beaten the game, which we've already done. So we can travel to either Sunyshore City or Pastoria City. Personally, I like to go to Sunyshore City as it's just a short bike ride. It's also worth noting that you'll want to bring a battle team, because to unlock the oval charm, you need to battle against Mr. Morimoto from Game Freak. He will be inside the jacuzzi, or like the outside pool at the Grand Lake Hotel at the Valor Lakefront. The reason we want to obtain the oval charm is because we will be able to get more eggs from the nursery in less time. Okay, so now we can focus on the breeding. For this video, I have chosen Tropius as an example. Tropius is in 2 egg groups, and what we will be doing is breeding up from 0 IVs on a Tropius with our dittos, all the way up to a 5 IV male Tropius. The reason we want a male Tropius is we can then use this 5 IV male Pokemon to breed with any other Pokemon within its 2 egg groups. This is where I remind you that I made a spreadsheet that has my recommended Pokemon to choose to fit this egg group partner Pokemon role. We will start by placing Tropius inside the daycare. From here, we will now pick one of our dittos that has at least one best stat, and we will give this the destiny knot. We will then put this ditto inside the daycare. The next step is to leave the daycare and bike around until the old man turns to the right. When we talk to him, he will have an egg for us. We can repeat this until we have 5 eggs and our mag cargo. This will be our setup for obtaining and hatching eggs throughout the rest of the process. Because one of the Pokemon that we are breeding with is holding the destiny knot, 5 of the stats from between the parents will be passed down. So it could pick 5 from one of them, or it could pick 1 of them and 4 from the other. The destiny knot also has a chance to pass down a random value, so keep this in mind. Sometimes you will get weird eggs that just have a completely different value. Our goal at this stage is to hatch all of the eggs until we can find a Tropius which has the same best stats as the Ditto that we placed in. We will then replace our first Tropius with the new Tropius. Now we can remove Ditto from the daycare and pick out another Ditto that has a different set of best stats, and then we will repeat this process until we have a Tropius that has the first Ditto's best stats and this new Ditto's best stats. So you could go from a 1 IV to a 2 IV Tropius, or a 2 IV to a 4 IV Tropius. At this stage, it all depends on the Dittos that you have. Once you are at the stage where your Tropius and Ditto inside the daycare are covering all 6 stats with a best, you can begin to breed for a 5 or 6 IV male Tropius to be an egg group partner Pokemon. If at any point you hatch a female Tropius that has higher IVs than the Ditto that is also in the daycare, then you can swap out the Ditto with this female Tropius and simply breed your way up from 1 IV all the way up to 5 or 6 IVs. If you have access to power items, you can give these to your breeding Pokemon and they will pass down the associated stat to all of their offspring. What I mean by this is that a power belt affects HP EVs when you use it for EV training, so it will pass down its HP stat to its offspring. If you want to speed up the process, you can of course use power items to get 1 IV Pokemon to breed 2 IV Pokemon, and then have 3 2 IV Pokemon with different stats. You can use the Destiny Knot and power items to help clump up as many best stats as possible whilst breeding up to 5 IVs. If any part of this video confused you, I have written up an entire written guide, so you're free to check that as well. Anyway, this is everything that I wanted to talk about for breeding 5 IV Pokemon completely from scratch as soon as you get to the post game. I know that this was quite long. It actually took me several days of gathering footage, doing my own testing, editing everything together, doing the voiceover. It took longer than I imagined. A lot of that is also due to Discord being up and running, and we're doing a lot of trading. We are almost at 100 members, so I'm going to be doing a special giveaway for all of the members. If you're interested in joining, then of course link is always available. I hope all of you have a good day. I hope you have plenty of luck finding shinies. Someone actually sent me a message on Discord that they've already hatched a shiny, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 of the breeding guide.